Hello and welcome to this tutorial in which we are going to look at the paper 2 practical exam for information technology. By the end of this video, you will learn how to solve the video editing question. And to solve this task, I'll be using Adobe Premiere Pro. You have been supplied with the following source files. You must use the most efficient method to solve each task. All work produced must be of a professional standard and contain your candidate details. You will edit a short video showing how the game TTT is played. All text must be displayed in a consistent sans serif font. Do not use transitions unless instructed to do so. The video clip was recorded by TTT Enterprises. 1. Open your video editing software and set the aspect ratio to 16:9. Open and examine the video file M25TTT. Trim this video clip so that it starts after 2 seconds. Remove the end of this clip so that only 15 seconds remain. Set the clip so that it runs at half the original speed. Export your clip in .mp4 format with the same resolution as the original file and with the file name my video followed by your center number and candidate number. You have to open the file m25credits.png in your image editing software. Resize this image without cropping so that it matches the frame width and height of the video clip. Save this image as credits.png. So as we are reading the question, you should be opening your video editing software in the background. As I said earlier on, I'll be using Adobe Premiere Pro for this tutorial. So here we are in Premiere Pro, and the first thing I'm going to go is to go into File and say New Project. I'll not give the project a name for now. I'll just click on Create. And here we are in the Premiere Pro workspace. If you're also using Premiere Pro whilst watching this video, I'd like you to go to the top right corner where we can change our workspace and come down and select Effects. Now let's go ahead and set our aspect ratio to 16:9. And to do that, go to where it says Project, right click and say New Item. Under New Item, select Sequence. Make sure it's on 180p, 24 frames per second. You can leave the sequence name as the default sequence 01 and click OK. Now let's head into sequence at the top and select sequence settings. Come down to where it says video, look at the frame size and ensure that the aspect ratio is 16:9. If it is not 16:9, you can enter these figures: 1920 for horizontal by 1080 for vertical, and then the 16:9 will appear. If you are done with that as well, click OK. So we have an aspect ratio showing here, this black frame of 16:9. Next, we are to open M25TTT. So let's once again head into where it says Project. Right click and say Import. Select your file. Click Open. So we will go with Keep Existing Settings. We are not going to go back and change the sequence settings. We changed it to 16:9. We are not changing it again. So we are keeping the existing settings. So click keep existing settings. So what we need to do is to resize it to fit the entire frame. So click on the clip in the timeline, and then in the effect controls, its properties will appear. First, we have the position, and then we have the scale. Come down to where it says scale. Bring your cursor close to where the 100 is. Then you see a double-sided arrow. So you can click and drag to your right. As you do that, the scale increases to fit the size of your frame. Next, we have to trim the clip so that it starts after 2 seconds. So let's come down to our timeline and where we have our numbers, which indicate the playhead position. This is for microseconds. This is for seconds. Then we have minutes and hour. So where it says seconds, bring the cursor there and type 2. Enter. So your playhead moves exactly to where the 2-second mark is. In the tools panel, pick your razor tool or type C. Trim alongside the playhead. So we have 2 seconds taken off. We can delete that. Click and drag your clip to the beginning of the timeline. So we have a new starting point. Next, we have to remove the end of the clip so that only 15 seconds remain. Meaning, once again, we go into the timer where the seconds is and enter 15. Pick the razor tool once again and make a cut, and then the end is what we don't need, so we delete. So we have only 15 seconds of our video remaining. Next, we have to set the clip so that it runs at half the speed of the original video. So you right click on the clip in the timeline and look for speed duration. So where it says speed, per default, it should be at 100. Half the speed will mean 50. So we enter 50. Do not click any of these ones, or if it's clicked, just uncheck all of them and click OK. This will extend your clip from 15 seconds to 30 seconds. So after changing the speed of our clip, we now need to export it in MP4 format with the same resolution as the original file. And then we are supposed to give it a file name as well, followed by a center number and candidate number. So with your timeline selected, make sure it's selected. The blue line is around the timeline. So you can either press Ctrl M or go to File and select Export and say Media. That will also bring you here. So first we have the option to change the file name, which is going to be my video. Followed by a center number. Underscore candidate number. And you're going to choose the location here. If you click on this, it should take you to your examination folder. Now we are to use the resolution of the original file, meaning that the frame size or the frame width and height must match the original file that you were given. When we come back to our edit page, this is the original file, the M25TTT. So what I'm going to do is just hover my mouse over it and look at its details. You see that we have movie, then we have 854 by 480. That is the frame size. It has a width of 854 and a height of 480. So it must match our resolution. So let's go back to export. Unfortunately, we will need to re-add the name again. So I'm going to type the name again. My video. And then I'll come down to where it says frame size. Per default, it's already on 1920 by 1080, but we will need to change that. So click on this checkbox. Then you can have access to make changes now. Click on the drop down and select custom. Now make sure this padlock is unlocked. And then we change the width to the 854 and the height to 480. Press the tab key when you're done. And there we go. Make sure the format is on H.264, which represents .mp4 in Premiere Pro. H.264 is the same as MP4. So if you check and all your parameters are okay, just head to the bottom right corner and click on export. So we are done with the first part of the video question. Let's head straight into the second part. The next thing we are going to do is open the file m25credits.png in an image editing software. And we are going to resize this image without cropping so that it matches the frame width and height of the video clip. So to achieve this, I'm going to head into Photoshop and open our file there. So here we are in Photoshop as well. I'm going to go into File and go into Open and go and select the file, which is M25 credits. And without cropping, we are supposed to resize this image so that it matches the frame width and height of our video clip. So to resize the image, I'm going to hold down Ctrl, press Alt and C. So to resize the image, I'm going to create a new artboard altogether with a pixel size of 854 and a height of 480. Then I'm going to go into where I opened my image, click, drag and drop it onto this page. I'll press Ctrl T for resizing it and try and resize it till it fits the artboard. So I'm going to avoid the instance of it being cropped. Like this. And this way. Now I'm going to hold down Shift so that I expand it this way to the side and this to the side. Now we have resized our image to fit the frame width and height of our video. We have to save this image in a PNG format with the file name as credits. So let's head into File. We can say Save a Copy. Change the Save As type to PNG, and where it says the file name, we enter the required name, which is credits.png. .png. Click OK when you see this. We have to create a video clip to match this storyboard. At 0 seconds, place the title "How to Play TT" by a candidate in the top right corner of the screen. Replace the text "A Candidate" with your name. Use a solid yellow fill for the background. Your image must be like this. And at 6 seconds, the background remains, the title is removed. At 7 seconds, background remains, the text, a two-player game placed in the top right corner of the screen. Formatting style is kept the same as the title. So back in Premiere Pro, we are to create a title, "How to Play TTT" by a candidate in the top right corner. First, we can do away with what we have on the timeline, or we can shift it to the right whilst we create the title at the beginning of the timeline. Before then, let's create a background so that we can see what we are typing. The background should be a yellow fill. So to do that, I'll pick the rectangle tool and click and draw over the entire stage. Fill the entire stage. Now a clip is created, or a track is created on the timeline. Head into its effect controls where it says shape 01. Drop down the tiny arrow by the left and let's head into its settings. Where it says fill, click on the gray color and let's change it to a yellow fill. So with our background created, first make sure the timeline is selected. Head up to graphics and titles. New layer, and under new layer, let's select text. Let's drag our text sample to the top right corner. And then we can pick the type tool. Double click in the area and type in our text. Now with the track selected on the timeline, we head into its effect controls. Drop down where it says text and look for the fill color and change it to black. Now for the black to take effect on this, we need to select everything here. So select the text, come back to the effect controls. Where it says fill, select black and click OK. So this background and title is supposed to remain for 6 seconds from the start of the entire project. So we have the track for the title and this is for the background. So let's head to 6 seconds on our timeline. And we are going to reduce the time of the background, or let's extend it. But we are going to drag the text to meet the 6 seconds like this. Because at 6 seconds, the text is removed, or the title is removed and the background remains. And then at 7 seconds, the background still remains and another text appears. It says, "A two-player game is placed on the top right corner of the screen and the formatting style is kept as the same as the title." So to keep the formatting style, we can just duplicate the first title we created. So select that track, hold down Alt on the keyboard and drag to your right and we have a duplicate. Make sure it starts from where the other one ended and double click to select and type in the text required, a 2-player game. Our next point of call is at 11 seconds. So let's head into the timeline. 11. Enter. And here we can trim down our title to end at 11 and the background to end at 11. At 11 seconds, we are supposed to bring in my video that we created in question 1. But you should also remember that we already have it as a project on our timeline over here. All we need to do is to click and drag it to our left to where it meets the background and the title. Now we are to use a dissolve transition from the background to the video. So head up to Effects and in the search bar, search for Cross Dissolve. Type in Cross Dissolve. And there we have it here under Video Transitions. Click and drag it and drop it in between the two or where the two clips meet. When we play back, we have a soft fade from one to the other. At 41 seconds, we have to take a still image from a frame in a video showing the 3 squares that are green. Crop this still image so that only cells A1 to E5 are visible. Your image must look like this. And still at 41 seconds, we have to place this image on the image credits PNG so that it looks like this. So let's head back to Premiere Pro. So back in Premiere Pro, I'm going to drag my playhead to the end where we have our green squares like this. And I should assume that's the last frame. Yes, this is the last frame. So to take a still image, we have some icons just under the program sequence here. One that looks like a camera that says export frame. I'll just click on it once and we have the option to name it. So I'm just going to name it last frame because we have not been given any specific name. I'll name it last frame. It should be in a JPEG format. So we are going to crop it. And I'll say import into project so that it becomes part of the items I have in my project bin. So just click OK. So I have it here. So I'll just add it as an item. And to crop it, I'll go to my effects once again. Select crop. Click and drag it onto the timeline. And go into its effect controls. And we have the option to crop from the left, the top, the right, and the bottom. So we're going to crop from the right. Just click and drag the percentage till you get to something like this. And we need to do something from the bottom as well. Click and drag. And then from the top. Now we need to import our file that we created, credit.png. So right click in your project pane, say import. So you locate your credit.png file, open. And what we are going to do is come back to the timeline and make sure your image of the last frame you just created is on top. And then you bring the credit.png beneath it like this. Now we need to increase the size or resize credit.png to fit what we have here. So just simply select it, go into the effect controls, and where it says scale, where it says 100, you click and drag to our right to expand it. Now we need to click on last frame and resize that as well, and reposition it in the bottom left corner like this. So this will serve as our credits page. To add a credit, let's pick the type tool. Click on our image and start typing our credit. So that will be video edited by. Then you can put your name and candidate number on the next line. When you're done, just click on the selection tool, but before then we need to add another credit. With a quick reference to the question paper, when you read the question, it says you will edit a short video, etc. But when you come down to the second line where it says the video clip was recorded by TTE Enterprises, so we must include this in our credits. So let's head back to Premiere Pro and include recorded by TTT Enterprises. So on another line, we can even leave some space. We add when you're done, just click on the selection tool, and now let's make changes to the text. With mine, my default is white, so I'll need to change it, the full color, to something more readable. You can make the font bold as well and align to center, and place the entire text somewhere here. And mind you that the track of the text will begin from where you placed your playhead. So I'm going to reposition my playhead at the beginning of the credit and place my text there. So it should start from here. And at the beginning, I mentioned that we all make sure we are in the effects workspace. If you haven't done that, please change to effects. And to add a scroll up effect, to your right, you see Essential Graphics. Click on it once, and you should see roll here. Click on the roll once, and when we play back from where we have our playhead, it will move our text upwards. Now move to the beginning of the video and play the entire video. The next thing we do is to export our video in the appropriate format, which will be MP4. Make sure the timeline is selected. We have the thin blue line going around it. Go to File, select Export, and select Media. Ensure that the file name is as requested, TTT video, followed by your center number and candidate number. And choose the location. The format is H.264. You don't need to make changes to the frame size. And click Export. And with that, we are done with this tutorial. Please be reminded to save your work every 5 minutes or 10 minutes when you're in an exam situation, so that if you face any technical difficulties, you do not lose your work. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this video. You can also buy me a coffee so I can keep on creating videos like this. And I've added its link in the description. Till we meet in the next video, I wish you all the best in your studies.